Hello, welcome back. My name is Jesse. This is part 11 of demonic upbringing. So, I'm in the psychiatric facility in the minimum security wing, and I've been shown my bed in my living area, and I'm trying to process all that at that time. I didn't have my wallet, so I had no funds. I was addicted to cigarettes, so I didn't have any cigarettes. I'm basically addicted to music. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of my comforts. So I get up and I do a quick survey of the area. They've got a eating area, they've got an entertainment area, they've got a lounging area, and every room has several beds in it. And I just do a few sweeps of what it is. Some people say hello to me. I respond uh, with a standard greeting, hello. I'm not hostile or anything like that. I'm just really, really confused and scared. So I had a hard time sleeping that night. And at this point, time is irrelevant. I don't know what time it is. I don't have a watch. I don't have anything. And time is really, actually, my watch is broken. I couldn't get it to work. It conked out. And I know later on in my life, I find out why. When you have heavy spiritual encounters, sometimes they fry your electronic devices and whatnot. So it was busted. It wasn't working. So then I sleep that night. Next day, I don't remember. I don't remember a whole lot. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to jump ahead here. I was in this facility, I think 3 months, at the very minimum 2. As I said, it's very fuzzy. And I was like, nobody knows where I am, except for somehow my roommate or my security friend knew where I was. I don't know how that came to be. But obviously, I'm not going back to my job. And that's right. I remember now. I went to the front desk and I was like, I need to go and get my stuff. And they basically laughed at me and said, "You're not going anywhere." And that's when I realized that I wasn't free. I was stuck here, and I couldn't get out. And after some of the other patients warmed up to me, and like I said, I was friendly, so I'm speaking with them, and they told me on good behavior, they'll allow you day passes, and to go out, sign yourself out. They had a sign out board to sign myself out, and I could go and have a cigarette. And some people there gave me some cigarettes. I mean, I met some really great people in there, people that were just broken, people that their lives were broken and they were hurting, and I did my best to try to lift them up. Again, the fear was still in me, but the impending doom was on the outskirts. It wasn't quite thick and heavy. So I made some, dare we call them, friends in there. It's very interesting individuals. One of them, and he was in a maximum security area. It was all plexiglass, and he slept under constant observation from the nurses at the front desk. And he had carved Nordic runes into his flesh, like all over his chest, all over his arms. And he had been a street guy. He might have been the same age as me, so young, not quite 30. And his charisma was otherworldly. He was extremely charismatic, and you just loved to be around this guy. Deep voice, I befriended him, and we hung out quite a bit. And he was never a danger to me. He was never hostile towards me. He told me some about his life on the street and that kind of stuff, and I just was fascinated. I met another guy there that claimed to be a shaman, so he was attempting to teach me some stuff. When eventually I did get day passes and to sign ourselves out, we would sit outside and have cigarettes and talk. And he was talking about being able to speak to rocks and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, I don't know anything about that, bud. Sorry. And yeah, I was never able to speak to rocks, so I don't know. But we made friends with. I made friends with him, and I made friends with several others. And then I was able to get a day pass and go back to my apartment. So somebody either lent me some money, I can't recall. The first trip, I took the cab It took me back to my apartment. And then on that trip, the cab driver, this is another messenger from God. The cab driver himself asked me what was going on. I said, dude, you wouldn't believe me even if I told you. And I'd already tried this before. I wasn't going to do it again. And I just kept to myself. And he says, you know what? Maybe you should come to my church. And I was just shaking my head. Inside, I'm thinking, dude, what is a church going to do for me? Like, my life is over. I'm done. And I just fluffed him off. But that was another messenger the Lord sent to me. He dropped me off. I got my stuff. I got another cab. They brought me to work. I went down and spoke with my other boss, my mate, like the boss above my boss. And he said that I was banned from the premises, and obviously I was fired and stuff like that. And then he gave me my wallet and says, you must have lost this. And I mean, how do they have my wallet? It was odd, very odd. But I got my wallet back. Now I have access to funds. So I buy myself some cigarettes. And I get another cab. And I paid whoever lent me money back. And I went back up to the facility. But now I have my music. And I shared my music with everybody there. I mean, as demonic as it is, I had some not demonic tunes that I'd acquired, I come into possession of. You know, some lighter music, and I would bring it to the common area and put it on, and I get everybody dancing and having fun. Now, of course, the nurses didn't like this too much because, I mean, it agitated some of them, not in a hostile manner, but they want to keep them under control. You know, a lot of them were on medications and whatnot, but. In any case, I made some really good friends there. And then I had my first psychiatric evaluation. And I'm sitting down, and I'm talking with the psychiatrist. And he says to me, the first thing he says to me, he goes, you know, I can read your mind. And I never thought of that. Like, I was like, whoa. So I'm freaking out inside. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just mentally I just thought of nothing but walls. Just walls, because I was thinking in my head at this time, like, how do I get out of here? I'm going to have to break out or something, you know, because I don't want to be stuck in here for the rest of my life. There's no way. So he wrote some stuff down on a piece of paper. Says, okay, well, I know now he was obviously doing a psychiatric evaluation to see what my mental state was. And of course I'm freaking out. And that was all that he said. And he says, we're going to give you some medications, and then you'll meet with me again, and we'll have a few more discussions. So I was like, okay. So walls, right? Thinking walls. So I left, tried to reorient myself. They gave me the medications. I took them without hesitation. And I'll tell you honestly, after that day, I think, again, 2 to 3 months, medications didn't do anything. They did nothing. Nothing. Never alleviated any symptoms whatsoever. And then they told me that I can appeal their process and sign myself out permanently under my own power, but I have to do an evaluation, psychiatric evaluation. So I was like, yeah, sign me up. I'm ready for that. And I mean, I totally blew that interview. I think one of the questions was, well, how do you feel today, or how do you feel? And I was like, well, today I feel fine, but some days I feel like Superman. You know, it sounded great in my head, but they were like, no, this guy's not getting out. So, yeah. I think it was within the first month, I miraculously remembered my dad's phone number from home, which I hadn't called in at least a year. And it just popped into my head. I was like, well, he probably want to know what's going on with me. So I called him. And I told him, I said, Dad, there's demons that are trying to kill me. And I don't think I'm safe here. And can you come and get me? And he's like, whoa, hold on. Back it up here. What the heck happened to you? So I told him briefly what was going on. And he said, no, I can't come out and get you, you know? And he gave me my mother's number, I think. It's a bit fuzzy. And then I called my mother, and she agreed that she was going to come and get me. So I think I stayed there another month. And then my mother showed up. And in between all this dread, these demonic entities are telling me that, sure, I was safe there, but when my parents, and when I get home, that's when they're gonna kill me. You know, I was paranoid. So, yeah, my mother comes. I'm ashamed. She's angry that she had to come all the way out there to get me, but she loves me. She gets us some plane tickets. I go back to my apartment with her and my stepdad. We grab some stuff, make it to the airport, get on the plane, and we're on the way home. So that's it for part 11. Um, I really don't like going back to all this dark stuff, but I think it needs to be said because it paves the way for greater things, good things, which I can't wait to get into. So, yeah, stay tuned. Until next time, may the Lord bless you. Amen.